Are you ready to be that bitch? Of course you are. Welcome to the show with real stories from women who chose their highest vision and never fucking looked back. That bitch didn't happen overnight, but she was always on her motherfucking way. Oh my God, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the That Bitch podcast. I am super excited to dive into a concept today that I honestly feel like is just here to light a motherfucking fire underneath your ass, okay? Y'all, we have one fucking life to live in this body. We have one fucking life to live in this body. Do you really want to spend your life in a place where you're half-assing everything, where you're settling for a life that you don't even want to fucking live, where you're settling for partnerships, where you're settling for the money that you're making, where you're settling for your friendships, the way that your life actually looks, how you actually function on every given day? Do you actually want to fucking settle in your life, period? Because that bitch 100% knows she only has one life to live and knows damn well that if she's choosing to settle somewhere, that's on her, right? I want you to look at your life right now and almost do like an inventory. Look at your life, look at your business, look at your career. I don't care where you're coming from, whatever it is. And I want you to look at where you are settling, where there might be parts of you that are like, hey, you know what? I'm tolerating an excuse over here from myself that's telling me that, like, even though I really want to go to the gym, I fucking can't. I'm tolerating that. I'm tolerating an excuse over here that's telling me that, like, I have no time, so all I can do is post one time a day online because that's how I'm going to drive revenue and that's how I'm going to drive my reputation online, whatever it is. Where are you tolerating the fact that you have no time and that's why you can only post one time a day? Or that's why you can only show up one time a day? Or that's why you can't show up consistently? What the fuck are we tolerating? Because wherever we are tolerating certain hidden parts within our life, within our business, within our energy, we are literally saying that we accept this. This is what we actually want. And that's not fucking helpful. That's not beneficial to literally anybody, especially the bitch that says, I want to have the juiciest life of my fucking existence. I want to feel so fucking proud of the life that I've created, the business that I've built, the fact that I climbed the corporate ladder. I want to be so lit the fuck up by who I actually am in this moment. Like, that bitch doesn't tolerate anything. And I know a lot of you, actually, I was in a conversation with somebody recently who they were like, Kim, I don't understand how you are literally so empowered like 99% of the time. Like, every time I fucking talk to you, you're like, your shit fucking doesn't stink. You're going for something. You're changing something. You're doing, like, where does this fucking energy come from? And honestly, it's like this story that I know that I talked about a little bit in a podcast episode recently, but I just want to bring it forward here. There was a time where my husband and I were on Martha's Vineyard which is an island off of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And we went there as a whole family on vacation. And you know the movie Jaws, like the shark, you know what I mean? That kind of shark. There's the Jaws bridge that actually exists there. And they filmed there and it's this whole thing or whatever. And so everybody pulls off on the side of the road. They jump off this bridge and it's just something that you do when you're there. And over the course of the week, my family was going to go do this thing. They were all going to go jump off this bridge, be this thing, go run, whatever. And when it was the day where it was my turn and my husband's turn, we get to the bridge and my husband jumps in, not even thinking. I swear to God, he jumped out of the car, ran over to that bridge, ripped his shirt off, threw it at me, kicked his flip-flops and just like jumped in. And I was like, oh my God, I barely had time to get my phone out. That's how actually nervous he was. But I barely had time to get my phone out to actually record him. And then it was my turn. And you guys, I want to paint the vivid picture of this because how fucking embarrassing is this moment? I crawl up on like the two rungs of this, like, what is it called? Like a wall on a bridge? What, like a guardrail type of thing? Whatever. I don't know. It's a wooden guardrail there so that like cars can't just fall into the fucking ocean. And so I climb up there and I'm like standing at the top and I am shaking. I mean, I am fucking shaking. My cousin is standing next to me. He's holding my hand and he's like, Kim, are you literally this nervous? These little fucking girls, these little girls who were like, my saving grace that day. They were like 7 or 8 years old, literally jump up. They're already wet because guess what? They jumped off. They were fucking fearless and they jumped into the water and they're holding my hand. They come up and they're like, how sweet is this, you guys? They come up to me and they're like, we've got you. You can jump with us. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I still laugh at this. Anyway. They kept jumping. They would literally jump in, come out, and then they'd come hold my hand again and try to get me to go. Jump in again, come out. I mean, I was up here. We're talking like 20, 30 minutes, like literally shaking. And then my husband, who's down in the water, looks at me and he just says to me, yells up to me, and he goes, "What story do you want to tell, Kim? What fucking story do you want to tell?" And that moment changed something in me. And so when people ask me, why do you have all of this energy? How do you have all of this drive? How are you doing all of these different projects, these different things? Why are you so confident and convicted in yourself? Like, how did you get to this point? There was this moment where I decided that I wanted to choose the story that I was going to tell, and that we actually have that conscious decision. We get to decide what story we're going to tell at the end of today, at the end of tomorrow, and on our deathbed. When we're 90 years old and when we look backwards, do you want to be the bitch that literally says, "Oh man, I really wish that I would have given it my all over there. I really wish that I would have tried this thing over there. I really wish that I would have, followed my vision, followed my dreams, that I would have trusted myself to make it fucking happen." Do you want to be that bitch? Or do you want to be the bitch that literally is on her deathbed and says, "Man, that was a wild fucking ride. I rode it like fucking hell, man. We rode it like fucking hell. We did all the things. We did exactly what we fucking wanted. We told the stories every fucking day." And so the reason why I'm pulling this forward is because I think it's a really fucking epic concept for people, especially when you're in a season of trying to be that bitch in every area of your life. Like, I want you to look at the micro moments throughout your day, and it's like, what story do you want to tell? Right? Like, there are days when it's like, especially if I'm getting my period, like, sweet baby Jesus, don't fucking talk to me. I'm bloated. You could pop me with a pin and blood. Like, I would be, the whole fucking room that I'm in would be just covered with blood. That's how gross and fucking nasty I feel. And it's like, even on the days that I wake up like that, I sit there and I'm like, what story do you want to tell at noon today? Do you want to say that, "Oh, I didn't work out because I was being a sad little bitch"? Or do you want to tell a story that it's like, "No, I worked out anyway"? What story do you want to fucking tell? And are we actually living up to that? And I want you to really like lean into this idea that it's like, we can tell whatever story we want to tell. We get to experience it. We get to live it. You could quite literally pick up and move to another fucking state, to another country if you wanted to. You could go visit, jump on a plane today if you wanted to. You could go take a train to another country if you're not in the United States, because that's not fucking happening here. But like, you could go do these things. It's available. It's at our fucking fingertips. We could go tell these stories today, but it's like, what we are tolerating is often our bullshit excuses. What we are tolerating is a version of us who says we can't have that, who says we're not enough, that you have to be X person or have X thing in order to have this. And it's like, that's fucking bullshit, you guys. Literally bullshit. I have a client who is a literal nomad, and they spent half a year last year in Asia exploring places all over the place. And it's like, her partner has found a way to actually develop strategic travel partnerships to get paid sometimes for the travel that they actually do. And he teaches people how to now do it. And he's making like right now in this moment, he's making like $1,000 a day. Okay. $1,000 a day. Like, I'm telling you this story because I know a lot of you are going to hear this. And I feel like we live in a culture and a society right now that really is leaning into the ideology that everybody is privileged and that's why they have the thing that they have. And I'm not here to say that people aren't privileged. Of course they are. Of course systemic racism exists. Of course there's systemic issues inside of our fucking country, inside of our systems that are made, period. Like, that exists. Bare bones. We fucking know that. And in the same breath, when we're kind of clutching to this all the time, you're becoming a victim. And when you're your victim, you're never going to get to where you want to go. And so it's like, sometimes we need to call people out on this shit and be honest about it. Where it's like, these people, it's not like they were born on fucking third base. It's not like daddy was paying for them. They figured it the fuck out. Point blank. They put themselves out there. They started reaching out to people. They figured it out. They've gone to places that literally rocked their nervous systems, but it was like, this is what I chose. I wanted to expand myself. I wanted to expand my mindset. I wanted to see culture. I wanted to experience another way of being. That was their conscious choice. That was the story that they wanted to tell, and they figured it the fuck out. And so it's like, oftentimes we sit here and it's like, where are you tolerating bullshit excuses or limitations that you're actually putting on yourself? Where are you telling yourself that you can't have said thing, and why? Why? Because, like, somewhere in your lineage, somebody told you that, like, that's not what life is like? Okay, fuck that. Fuck all that noise. Like, that's not real, right? Like, that might have been real in the 18 fucking hundreds. That might have been real in the 1900s. Literally, have a conversation with yourself. Talk to your fucking body about how this isn't real. Break the motherfucking chains and move differently. Choose a different narrative. Choose a different story. Again, this is that concept of coming back to, what story do you want to tell? When people ask me, how do you have all of this energy? How are you this trusting in yourself? And it's like, because I consciously know that I will always choose the story I want to tell. I will always choose the story that I want to be able to live. I want to be able to look back on my life and say, man, I really lived that to the fucking 10th degree, man. I went full force in every area of my life that was a priority to me. That's what matters to me. And that meeting myself at my own edge of my capability, you guys, this is the truth of this is like, this is a self-actualization concept. So when we look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so like you have to have your base needs met. Now we're going to get a little psychological here. You have to get your base needs met. And it's like, once your base needs are met, you get to move up this like ladder of consciousness, if you really will. And once you get to the tippy top, you're hitting self-actualization status, showing yourself who you get to be in this lifetime. When I was in high school and I learned this concept, because your girl, of course, took a bunch of psychology classes in high school. Of course, she literally applied to get into a humanities level class that was harder and philosophical and all about ideologies and all about understanding how things work and blah, 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 all of this or whatever. In the season of doing this and in the season of choosing to be in these spaces, I learned about self-actualization, and I was so fucking activated about that. I immediately thought to myself, I want to become self-actualized in this lifetime. Are you telling me that only a small percentage of people ever get there? Your girl wants to be that bitch. You guys, I made that decision when I was I think I was at my first semester of senior year when I started taking this class. It literally expanded me so much that was like, oh my God, we should all be striving for self-actualization. We should all be meeting ourselves at our highest potential, because if we actually all were meeting ourselves at our highest potential, we wouldn't have a bunch of fucking victims in this world. We would have a lot of people who were problem solvers, who were critical thinkers, who thought outside of the box, who were innovators, inventors, who were changing the game. Like, fuck, isn't that like the idealistic society that you want? And I immediately, when I saw that, I identified that and I was like, fuck, that's who I want to be. I want to go be that bitch. I want to be self-actualized in this lifetime. I want to show myself my edge of capability. And if that means that I need to show the fuck up and tell the story that I know I need to tell in order to get to that level, I've got to hold myself to that degree. Even if I'm tired, even if I'm exhausted, even if I have my period, even if I don't fucking want to, even if I just got into an argument with my spouse, even if, you know, like right now, my husband's dad recently passed away. He's struggling epically. It was his fucking dad, and it was tragic, and it was sudden, and he's struggling. Every single night, I'm helping him emotionally process. Every single night, I'm holding him right now. And in the midst of all of it, I've got perimenopause, and your girl is waking up in the middle of the night all the fucking time. Sometimes I'm up 2 hours in the middle of the night, and I'm literally like, oh my God, this is breaking my sleep. And yet, so many people have this excuse that it's like, oh, I don't get enough sleep, and so therefore that's why I don't have enough energy. And I'm like, no, bitch, I can activate myself. Run. Run. What story do you want to tell? Kim, run. That's all that this is. And so I look at it with you, and it's like, where are you, one, putting up your own self-imposed barriers, your own self-imposed limitations? Where are you saying you can't have something because of whatever the excuse is? It doesn't fucking matter. In my world, I have a fundamental belief we can figure out how to have exactly the things that we fucking want. We just have to find the path. We just have to figure out what that looks like for us, and we have to go run at it in a way that most people never will. And then you will have the very thing that you absolutely want. And so for you, it's like, where are you tolerating certain aspects in your life, in your business, in your brand, in your career, in relationships, that this is not the story you want to tell? And why are we choosing to continuously tell a story we don't want to tell? Is it because you're nervous? Is it because you don't know the next pathway? Is it because that means you need to end a relationship? Does it mean that you have to have a hard conversation with somebody? Does it mean that you need to go fire the client? Does it mean that you need to call yourself out and say, you know what, I am doing the fucking bare minimum all the time. And if I want to play at like level 300 so I can get to the 300 level results, I need to fucking call myself out. What is it that we need to do here? But again, it's this aspect of like, it's so fucking basic. It's so simple. It's just most people will not hold themselves to that degree. And I will hold myself to that degree. That's the level of leader I am. That's how I've always functioned. It's so crazy. I was just having a conversation with one of my mentors yesterday about how in my previous career, my entire team called me the fearless leader. And then there was, in not only in that career, I also worked in a secondary career that was like inside this building, all these things, whatever. Anyway, it was a church. And that was like 1,000-person plus church. And so many individuals there called me the fearless leader as well. And it would be like, oh, Kim's a fearless leader. She just stands up for what she fucking believes in. She says the damn thing. She doesn't care if she's not going to be liked. She doesn't care if that's going to piss people off, if it's the right fucking thing to do. And it's like, yeah, that's leadership, right? And it's like, as much as they perceived me as this fearless leader, I have all this fear. Of course I have fear. Of course there's doubt. Of course there's uncertainty. And anyway, I'm not going to let any of that stop me. I'm figuring it the fuck out. I am that bitch. Why? Because that's the story I want to tell. When you are 90 years old, what type of woman do you want to be remembered for? When you are 90 years old, what do you want your grandchildren? Maybe you don't have children. I'm not going to have grandkids, but I'm going to have nieces and nephews and their babies are going to be like my grandkids 100%. And so it's like, what story do you want to tell all of these kids? What story do you want to tell these people in your life, your friends, your neighbors? How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as the woman that literally went for it every fucking day? She put herself in the arena. She didn't give a flying fuck. And she went for it because she knew she deserved it. And she knew that this is the story she wanted to tell. And she knew that if she could show more little girls specifically that this is who you get to be and this is what you get to go after and you get to empower women this way. Do you want to be remembered that way? Do you want to be remembered as somebody that was able to have children and have the career and was present? Do you want to be remembered as the woman that built this insane empire that changed so many people's lives? Do you want to be remembered as the woman who was a stay-at-home mom and who got to be with her children and were like literally just obsessed with it? Like, what do you want to be remembered for? We all have different desires and priorities. And that bitch will always choose her desire and priorities. She doesn't give a flying fuck. That story is the number one priority. But most people don't even let themselves get clear on the story that they want to tell. And so this whole episode, I want you to understand, what is the story you want to tell? Who do you want to be? Again, when you are 90 years old and they are writing your obituary, what do you want that obituary to look like? I want it to say that Kim had 0 dead fish dry vagina energy. I wanted to say that Kim lived life to the fullest. I wanted to say that a lot of people didn't fucking understand Kim's vision and Kim's path, but she did it anyway, and people were literally in awe of her. I wanted to say that, oh my God, Kim just existing and being changed people's. It made people see that they could go after more. It made people see that they deserved better, right? And so therefore I have to match that. Therefore, that's how I have to hold myself. Therefore, that's who I have to push myself into being. And so many people, like, this is the other concept here. It's like so many people will say, well, I just want to be my most authentic self. And like that authentic self is like the version of me that like feels free and feels soft and feels this and feels whatever. And it's like, and I don't want to like keep becoming somebody. I just want to be this. You guys, everybody doesn't, I swear to God, the entire fucking planet does not understand authenticity. That word became such a fucking buzzword for people wanting to be lazy and be like, accept me for who I am. When in reality, it's like your most authentic self is your most powerful bad bitch version of you. You've never even met her yet. You've never even met her yet because you haven't started playing like her yet. And even when you do meet that next edge of her, there's another edge that you can uncover. And it's this like deepening, my God, it's like giving me my mushroom trip journeys. It's like my mushroom trip journeys always show you that like we are infinite wells. There is no ending. There is no ending to growth, to evolution, to consciousness. It just is, oh, it honestly feels so fucking juicy to be in that moment with yourself. But it's that aspect of like, I can keep pushing this as much as I want to push this. And maybe there comes a day where I'm like, the that bitch level that I'm at right now feels really good. But right now it feels like there's more capability that I need to meet. Not because I need to go chase something and prove to myself that I am this thing, but rather, why wouldn't I want to go fuck around and find out? Why wouldn't I want to go fuck around and find out who I actually am in this lifetime and who I get to be? Why wouldn't I go and be a woman when I walk in a room, people look at me and immediately go, now that bitch, I don't even know what she does, but I know that bitch. She's got rich girl energy inside and out, not just in her bank account, rich girl energy inside and out. why wouldn't I want to be this thing? Why wouldn't I want to give myself everything that I ever fucking wanted? We are literally put on this planet, and regardless of anybody's belief systems, we are put on this planet to literally to create who we want to be and to create the life that we want to exist. If we're not doing that, and if we're just saying that who we are now and what the cards were that were handed to us, like, what the fuck is the goddamn point? That's not the life that I want to create. That's not why I'm here. I know damn well my soul contract didn't say Kim will suffer in this lifetime. No, if Kim's suffering, it's because Kim's choosing to fucking suffer. Kim's choosing to lean into bullshit narratives and excuses that are keeping her small. And now, obviously, I'm not saying that life is just all sunshine and fucking rainbows. That's not it. Like, of course, there's actual suffering. There's tragedies. There's hardships. There's hard moments. But I don't have to stay in that for fucking ever. I don't have to be this thing for fucking ever. I can ride the waves of, like, life and not get lost in the sauce and lost in who I am. It's like this last concept that I'll bring forward. I just had a conversation with a client who's in an intensive with me right now. And we were talking about how her brand specifically is giving off this big ode of really juicy, yummy confidence. And I am a direct motherfucker. So I said to her, that is not how this is being perceived online right now. I can't even feel that in your brand right now. And I said, the truth is are you feeling like a bad bitch all the time? Do you feel like a bad bitch? She was like, well, no, like life's hard sometimes and I'm not always. And I said to her, yeah, duh, my life's hard too. I still feel like a bad bitch. I still feel like a bad bitch because I still am that bitch. Even if I'm sad, even if I'm fucking feeling a certain way, even if shit isn't going my way, even like today, I have to send off $25,000 for more fucking taxes. Like on days like this, it's like when I'm like, God damn, what? Like I still get to be that bitch. I still get to record this fucking podcast episode and one after this because I said that's what I'm going to do today. I still got to wake up and work out first thing instead of sitting on my couch and taking a slow morning because my house cleaner was coming and I needed to make sure that I got my workout in before she arrived so that she could clean my basement because we have an at-home gym, right? I'm still that bitch anyway. And I think that's where people like misinterpret this, where it's like, it's that bitch. It's not that it doesn't have the odds stacked against her or that things don't suck sometimes. It's that bitch chooses to be who she wants to be in every fucking given moment. Why? Because that is the story she wants to tell. So on that note, what story do you want to tell? Are you actually leaning into that story? Are you being that bitch who gets to tell that story? Or are you still waiting for some magical little moment to shift? Waiting for some magical little moment where you feel finally fucking ready. Every day is your chance to be ready. You literally just have to decide. Okay, bitches. That was so juicy. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, a wonderful fucking week. I hope you go out and you make that bitch moves every goddamn day. I hope you make more money than you can even fucking imagine because there is so much available to us. There's so much impact that we have here to make. I'm so excited to continue to support you in this way and to show up with this fiery fucking energy. I'm hoping that I'm lighting a fire underneath your ass. And we will be back next week for another episode of the That Bitch podcast. We'll see you guys soon.